What's going on, everyone? Today we're here with TK Kirkland. Now, he's a comedian. I'm pretty sure many of you have seen him on his comedy specials, The Breakfast Club. He also has a podcast that he's just launched as well. So, TK, thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you. And for everybody, the podcast is called the TK Kirkland Show, and it airs every Monday. And the reason why I'm really hyping on this, people have been trying to get me into the business for over 3 to 4 years, and I always turned it down because I'm a busy dude. I'm not doing no damn podcast. I'm busy. So Charlemagne finally got me to do it, and when we aired a week ago, I was number 87. So in my head, I'm thinking the gradual approach. I'm thinking, okay, in 10 months, I'll be number 50. In a year, I'll be in the top five. And my goal was 2 years to be number one. Well, everybody, I just want to, whoever does this to my show, and I need you guys to start listening to it because we're dropping jewels on the show, is I became yesterday the number 2 podcast in the world, which is such a phenomenal. Anything I do in life, I always try to win. From hustling to being a great father, to being a great stand-up comedian, to being a great person, I want to be the best. So to hit number 2 after 2 weeks is just really an accomplishment. And I'm thankful.
Yeah, it's always good to get that support from the people, and so I guess
Yeah.
Charlemagne seen it in you, so I guess why he was pushing you more so toward that direction. But I just heard
Yeah.
you say that you're a father. How many children you have?
I have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. My oldest son is an executive over at Interscope Records doing his thing. My youngest son is in college playing football. My 2 girls are on honor roll. Both of them are 3.8 GPA. And I just wish the best for them for the rest of their life because this is just the first stage of life. So if I can be their GPS until my eyes close forever and grant them just great guidance, it'll be a great accomplishment on my part.
So it sounds like they are, successful kids. What did you tell them, or how did you have some sort of role of discipline for them so they won't go away from the, straight and narrow that seem like they're on?
Well, in life, I see things different in people. I think your children act like you. It all comes from your DNA. I really feel if you're a bitch nigga, excuse me, I don't know if I can curse on your thing. If you're a bitch, I think it comes out in your DNA, and your boys become whiny, they become complainers. If the mom was a hoe before the kids come out a hoe. If you solid, you're a real dude, and you put things in perspective. Because even though I was a hustler, I always did things for people. I hustled to get a lot of money, but it was nothing that I really needed. It was just something that I did, but I took care of a lot of people. And when you take care of a lot of people, I have this philosophy that you'll always be able to cash it in when you need it. And I was able to cash it in to stay out of jail. I was always able to cash it in for health. I was always able to cash it in for peace of mind. So my children are a certain way because I'm in their life. I keep it 100 with them. And I present just the facts, and we roll from there. And plus, I don't take no shit.
Yeah, and as a father, I agree with that 100% because at times, we gotta lay down the law on these kids because, like I said,
That's
I have
right.
4 kids as well. I actually got 3 daughters and 1 son. I have one. She about to graduate and go to college, and I'm always
Yeah.
talking to her about these dudes,
Yeah.
her grades. I mean, I keep it
Yeah.
straight with them because
Yeah.
if you don't, somebody else gonna be spitting in your kid's ear, and
Right.
then you gonna come in the house like, what the hell you coming here pregnant for?
Right. And if we
Yeah.
can keep the kids away from sex for a while,
Mm-hmm.
we'll win because I think that sex alters the plan. And it's not their fault. It's just life. Think about when we was coming up and we thought we did the monster thing to a girl and had her fall in love and you really thought you was the man. But I have a philosophy that a man shouldn't even have sex unless his paper is right. I believe that if you're a teenager and you want to sling your thing, your money should be up. You should have about 10 11,000 in the bank between 17 and 18 years old because it costs to have sex. See, the thing about sex is whether you're poor or rich, we're equal because we all can get it.
Correct, but at the same time, that may be what you say, but in this day and time, if you want to look at how these women just put themselves out there, I mean, if you want to look
Yes.
at it as a stock, it's a penny stock now because
Yes.
it's overwhelming. They don't respect themselves. So I
Yes.
think what you're saying is good for a guy in general. Like I always tell a young man,
The lane that we're in now, we're talking about men.
mm-hmm,
Now, if we're gonna put our blinkers on and go to the next lane and talk about female, damn, what the fuck is going on with our women? From young girls to the older women. I don't get it. They're losing respect for themselves. And it's pretty much, like I said, if females act a certain way, it goes back to men. See, men are not leaders anymore.
mm-hmm.
Men are moving with our women. They're using them. They're destroying them. And instead of uplifting them and making them stronger. So we can get our young men and even older men to rethink their position in a woman's life. Meaning, if the woman works and you not working, try to find a job. If you not working, clean the house. Do something around her so she don't have to go to work and come home and clean. Better yet, I tell people, if you don't work and your girl work 40 hours a week, do not have your ass in the house when she gets home at 5 o'clock. I don't care. You can stay in the house all day. But if you know she's coming through that door at 5 o'clock, make sure you leave at 3:30 and don't come back till 11 o'clock.
Yeah, see that stuff what you talking about right them old sorry guys. I don't have no patience for a sorry man. I
Man,
don't. I wouldn't raise like that. A man supposed to have a job. If that job don't provide, you need to have two jobs. If that job don't provide, you need to have three. And I don't see
yeah.
how some woman get with a man with no job laying up on her all
That's
day.
something
I don't get it.
I don't get it. Now, let me speak for the women on the behalf. I always try to play both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Loneliness is a sad thing, Phil. Loneliness can break you down. It can break you down so bad that you might fall for that. You might fall for that. Loneliness and love can just make you just do things you just want to do. And these girls do fall in love. Some of them do come around later. Basically, I want our women to do their due diligence before they get serious with a man. And do your due diligence is he got to have a decent car. He has to have a job that he works 40 hours a week. Is he consistent? Does he text you? Does he call you? Does he put the effort in to make you feel special? Those things are important.
It's definitely important. That's why I push, at least on my platform, I always say blue collar brothers and not thugs. I always say that because you describing a blue collar brother. Else you describing a guy with a job. Of course, he got to be a decent guy as well, because just because you got a job doesn't mean you're a good guy. But, we see too many women chasing thugs in our community, unfortunately. Not all, some. And a lot of times we have guys who aren't any kind of person that live in that kind of life trying to emulate that life just because they think that's what the women want. That's crazy.
Right. It's something because you get these entertainers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll drop the names, the Soldier Boys, the Chris Browns. Let's go for that. Who come up and they punks. They straight up punks. But they want to be gangsters. I don't get it. You making so much money, why would you want to claim a gang? Why would you want to carry a gun? Why would you want to hurt somebody? The goal, and anybody will tell you this in the street, and you probably know this too, Phil, is to get money and you leave the streets behind.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to become a gang member. Matter of fact, you don't want to have nothing to do with no gangs. You don't even want the word gang to come out your mouth. And that's the problem. These young kids want to get rich and be thugs. And there's nothing wrong with wearing your hat to the side and be a good gentleman and stay out of jail and open the door for a young lady and get her flowers and not have any weaknesses. Weaknesses to me is if you're smoking weed too much, if you're a gambler, if you're an alcoholic. These things come back to haunt a family as you get older and if you get weaker, you gotta stay from weak. You gotta stay away from weakness.
Yeah, and the problem is when you talking about even guys like that, you usually trace it back, and I guarantee you got to sit down with Chris Brown and let's say Soldier Boy, and just ask one question to him: how's the relationship with you and your father?
I totally agree.
I guarantee you that question will be danced around, or it won't be a straight answer. But yeah, he was a good dude. He was a strong man. He was, because a guy like that isn't comfortable in himself, so he's looking outside of himself for validation. And if you have a father around to tell you, "No, son, this is what you need to do," that I have a great relationship with my father, and I love him to death. I call him up, like, Dad. I go visit him. We love him. And I hate all kids don't have that.
That's so true, my man. And to the fellas, if you do listen to this entertainers, to your platform who do listen to this, to the fellas who don't have a father, and you made it and you stay strong, we salute you because we know how hard it really is to be a man, to be structured, to have obstacles thrown in front of you, and that you're truly trying to find a way to achieve success. It's rough, man. It's rough.
It really is. And also, I would admonish some guys, if your dad wasn't around, give him a chance to explain what happened. Because, see, sometimes mom fills in the blank, and he wasn't there to even tell you what the real deal was. And it could have been something so different than what you heard.
Yes, because what happens in situations like that, women don't know how to keep their whole statistics. See, if you're going to be a hoe, you have to keep whole statistics, meaning you got to know who you kicking it with. So if you get pregnant, you're not telling one father he's the father for 3 or 5 years. You go through a divorce, you get a blood test, and you find out that the kid is not yours. Then you come back to the other man and start telling him he's the father.
Yeah,
I think that's horrible. I think it's disrespectful. And what is a person supposed to do? It's the hardest thing in the world. Okay, I haven't been in this man's life for 5 years. He was around this other man. Now all of a sudden I'm going to come into his life and tell him that I'm his real dad. Wow. I couldn't even think of the mental stress that could do to someone.
And then you have the other side of it, which that a lot of that do happen, where let's say they did have a marriage and it broke apart. And, because the mom or whatever can't get over the situation, let's say the dad got remarried and she feel that, what the dad is doing now, he may be doing 10 times to 100 times better. Now she's salty. And the only way that she can cause problems is through the child.
Yeah.
And cause so much friction that the dad may back off because of the friction. But she'll fill in the blank sometime and say, "Oh, your dad don't be around," but she's not telling the kid that, "Oh, well, I'm the one blowing his phone up. I'm the one harassing his wife. I'm the one doing this and that and the third." You get what I'm saying?
I totally agree, because some men don't like to deal with that type of aggravation. They'll do it for so long, and then afterwards they just can't take it no more. I totally understand. I totally get it.
Yeah, because I dealt with some of that same stuff, and I told my son, I said, "Listen, if I didn't know how that felt, son, I wouldn't be around." I said, "Trust me." I said, "Cause your mama put me through so much hell." Oh, wow. Man.
How that you went through that.
Oh, but I fight though, brother. I fight. I fought to get more time with my son. Like I say, no woman's gonna run me off. Period.
So she was holding back your child from you for a minute?
Oh, no, Lord. No, I have you in jail for that happen. I don't play that. I heard some brothers tell me that they ain't seen their kid in 2-3 years. I ain't going through that. I'm like, no, you gonna either let me see my kid when I see him, or you don't have to, but them folks gonna get you. But see, with my situation, I wanted custody of my son because I feel that, as a young man, he need to be with his father. And so I went to try to get custody, and I'm telling you what, when you try to get custody as a man, even though your situation could be 100 times better than hers, them folks still want to give custody to the woman, and she making less than you.
Yep.
Until you realize the hustle that they making money off of them child support cases, a state.
Yes. These girls don't get it. They don't get it, man. They don't get it. They don't. But it comes down to also, men got to think about who they stick their thing in. I know sometimes you can't predict it, but I always tell people life is a book, it's life lessons. And if you can meet someone that's a mentor or talk to someone that's older than you and they know, everybody doesn't know what I'm about to say. When you know the questions to the book, but you also have the answers. Once you know it, you will never deviate from the blueprint. And what most people do who do know the questions and answers, they'll still go out there and still take a risk, knowing that there's consequences if you go off path.
Yeah, because like say with my situation, I learned so much from that when I
Yes.
went into, like I said, and I met my wife I have now, I've been married about 5 years. From the gate, I was like, look, I'm not gonna put up with you telling me something you ain't no business. I'm not gonna put up with you
That's right.
checking my phone. I'm not giving you a password. I was
That's
going through a
right.
whole list of stuff, and I say, now if you're not cool with anything I'm saying, just let me know. I say I'm
Yes.
not, and the problem with us as men is that we don't come into the situation telling them what we're not going to allow. We just kind of hand them a blank paper with our signature on it and let them fill in the blank.
I totally agree. But that's because you're being a man. You went through your life lessons. You saw what went wrong in the other situation. You was able to gather your thoughts, put everything together, and you move forward. And by you having structure, by you have gone through the things that you've gone through, you was able to lead and create a guideline. And by you having a guideline, and by your wife being submissive and a beautiful woman and wanted to be with you, she was able to go through this. Now, ladies who are listening to me, I'm not trying to say she's a dog. She better listen. What I'm saying is there's something in life that we're all forgetting. It's tradition. And when you have tradition in a marriage or in a relationship, you cannot lose. I'm telling you. If the man's opening the door, if the man's taking you out to dinner, if a man is being the man and you have tradition, oh, I wish that for everybody that's listening to this podcast. I really do. Well, not podcast, the Skype show, that you people really understand what me and Phil is talking about because we dropping jewels here. And I'm telling you, this is just a beautiful thing.
And then you have some brothers that who feel, yeah, they need to submit, but at the same time, you have to earn that. You have to earn her to trust you too, because you're not providing for the
Yes,
household. When she go out there to
yes,
cut on her car, it better cut on every time. And if it's a problem, you
yes.
better fix it. The lights
Right.
better not be off. The water better not be off. The cable better not be off. That's what you're supposed to do to earn that position to say, hey, I think we should do this. Why should she listen? Because you proven yourself.
Yes, and I want men, if you know that your money ain't right, if you know you don't have a place to live and you go to her house and you ain't got nothing to offer, leave the girl alone. Just leave her alone until you get yourself together. See, men go meet these girls, they don't have their lives together. Now everybody fucked up. You don't met her, you're a cancer to her, so you have drained her for everything. Now you up and go somewhere else and you drained her. You drained her for spirit, you drained her for sex, you drained her bank account, you drained her car, you drained her kids, you drained her, you're a user. Stop it, fellas. Phil, what else going on? What's going on, man? Tell me about your show. Tell me what you're doing out here and all this good stuff.
Yeah, man. But on this show here, brother, like we do a lot of news and social commentary, and
Yes.
I'm big about anti-black propaganda. That's something that we deal with constantly.
Okay.
And that's I fight against that because propaganda is a very powerful thing,
Yes.
and we had a lot of great civil rights leaders. But they never really could fight the propaganda. And now social media has given us the opportunity to stand up against a lot of that propaganda.
I
Uh,
totally agree.
that we see, especially against us as black men and black people.
Yes. And one of the things I always tell people, and this is going to be interesting, people's upset about Donald Trump, people's upset with a lot of things. And since it's Black History Month, I think it's a good time to talk about this. I always say, no disrespect to Martin Luther King. I always say, but Martin Luther King had the wrong dream. Martin Luther King should have said to me, and it's just my theory, is that it should have been, I do have a dream, that I had a dream that bosses talk to bosses. Let me tell you a story about Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And ladies, what that means is, you could Google this, there was a time in the early 1900s where black men and women thrived, that we had our own hospitals, our own doctors, we had our own movie theaters, our own bus system, meaning that if this had been passed on before hate came in from the KKK and local politicians in Oklahoma, it would have trickled down from generation to generation. If you don't know this story, in that black community, the black dollar circulated on Black Wall Street for 15 months before it left the community. So my point is the small mom and pop stores, the things like what me and Phil is doing, from your own podcast to your own show, to your own nail salon, to your own eyelashes. We have to start creating our own businesses so that our children won't have to grow up, fill out an application, and work with other people who they don't like, so they have to deal with supervisors or co-workers who are true haters to make their 9 to 5 horrible. I hear some of these stories when I travel the world about people's co-workers and their supervisors, how they don't like them, how these people cause so many problems. Now, I know we don't live in a perfect world, but let's give our children an opportunity to have their own business, to travel, to jet ski, to get massages, to just truly enjoy. Because I take my kids everywhere I go and they experience, and I pray to God that I'm able to do that for them as they get older.
Yeah, and one thing I could say about the other side is that they believe in leaving a legacy and inheritance to their kids.
Yeah.
I never understood why these folks just try to get more and more and more and more money, but then you look at it like they setting their kids up. You talking about Trump? He's setting his kids up that when he gone, his kids gonna be having all that money. And as
Man,
black people, we don't do that, and we need
yeah.
to start focusing on setting our children up.
Let me put you guys up on game what Phil was just saying. You really don't even have to have a good job to create a legacy, but you need life insurance. So let me put you up on game and I have to go. In life insurance, if you take out $1 million policy, don't leave the person the $1 million. You leave them the interest to the $1 million. And then when they die, they have to pass that million off to someone that they love and trust and let them live off $100,000 a year, well, along with the job. My point is, in your second generation of your name, carrying your legacy, you'll start having millionaires in your families. When you drive through Beverly Hills, when you drive through some of the prominent areas in your city, all those people ain't go to school. All those people don't have an education. All those people did not have good jobs. But someone in their crew, family, dad, whatever, years ago, he had life insurance. And life insurance gets passed down. You ever go to a white funeral? They're sad, but they just wiping their eyes because somebody just inherited a lot of damn money. You ever go to a black funeral? First, let me start off this. In a black funeral, sometimes they don't get buried for 2 weeks because somebody in the family who lives right across the country don't have enough money to fly there. So now your ass can't be buried for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, don't we know?
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is get your life insurance, get your burial insurance. And if you want to get buried, get buried. But my point is get your life insurance. If you work 9 to 5, you only make $12,000 a year. You only make $20,000 a year. But you could get an insurance policy for that amount of money, and it only costs you $6, $7, $20 a month. Just do your due diligence and look into it. Phil, at the Advise Show. My name is TK Kirkland, aka T to the MFK. To everybody watching this, make sure you could please keep supporting my man Phil here. And please, let's make history on my show, because my show is for the people like Phil is. My show is just not for regular celebrities. It's for regular superstars in the community. My podcast is your podcast. So if you have a story, hit me on my Instagram at TK_Kirkland. Follow my show on iTunes or SoundCloud, and it's free at the TK Kirkland Show. And what happens is, if you have a story, we will hit you as soon as we can. We'll call you, we'll interview you. After we interview you, we'll put your face up on the website. We'll send you a T-shirt in the front that says the TK Kirkland Show, and on the back we all have a story. On that note, Phil, may God bless you. Thank you for your time. I'm on my way to the Super Bowl.
Oh, coming to Houston, huh?
Yeah, I got to go down to Houston, and I'm doing an event with Odell Beckham Jr. I'm doing something with Beyonce's dad. It's just going to be a great weekend.
Yes,
and
sir.
Then I have to go to Africa, and then I shoot straight down to Atlanta. So,
Oh, yeah, you got to get going.
Please, to everybody watching this, follow my show. Please keep supporting Phil. And again, my show is called the TK Kirkland Show. Follow me on Instagram at TK_Kirkland, and that's also my Twitter, TK_Kirkland. For the people who don't know how to spell Kirkland, KIRKLAND. Phil, may your pain be champagne.
Oh, yes, sir. God bless you.
Yes, sir.